Today, our chair, Pat, was not, it had a family emergency, so she's not here, and I'll do my best to take over. I'll call this meeting to order and with the roll call.
Ms. Cooper Payton.
Here.
Ms. Harrell.
Here.
Ms. Hetland.
Here.
Mr. Jacobson is excused. Ms. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Orcherton.
Here.
Mr. Patterson.
Here.
Ms. Salmon is excused. And Ms. Snyder.
Here.
All right. Are there any changes to the agenda? Looks like no. All right. All right, and approval, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from last week? In a second?
I think there was just one slight thing in point 5 on the minutes. I think there's just the title, the first bullet point just needs a little tweak to change the name from Sarah Tavis to Kelly White.
Okay.
All right.
Under point 5, communications,
Oh,
the
yeah,
first
I
bullet
see.
point there.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not arts in the schools either.
Oh, yeah, good point.
It's not arts in the
yeah,
schools
arts in the
either.
schools.
Right.
It's 40 North, the Boneyard Creek.
Didn't take that heading off.
Yeah. Oops.
All right, and are those all the changes that we got? All right. And a motion to approve. And second? All right. Without objection, we'll approve those minutes. Okay, is there any public input? All right. I guess we can get started. Looks like our first grant presentation is Erica Cooper Payton. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, so we have Nikki Hosman and Janet Sosby from the Urbana Park District.
We are Erica Cooper Payton Light. My name's Janet Sosby. I'm the community program manager, and this is Nikki Hosman. She's been here like a month and a half. She is the community program coordinator who took the job after Miss Erica moved to Dr. Williams. So we're here kind of presenting a program that Erica was the person in charge of. So this is our little tribute to you. No, there's no pictures of you in it or anything crazy. That's good. So this is a report on the 2016 Read Across America, which was the one from, it's the 16th annual, so March 5th, 2016, Read Across America. If you're familiar with it, it's a special event that's open to the whole community, and it just fills Lincoln Square with all sorts of good stuff. We have entertainment by storytellers, celebrity greeters, and then we have booths presented with all people reading stories to the kids. We have book sale. We have a parent and toddler area. There's lots of hands-on activities for kids, and there was a free book and bag for the first 1,000 children. It's a big group effort. There's a pretty giant a committee that works on everything together, and these are some of the organizations that are represented on that committee. And then obviously you can't do a special event without sponsors, and including, in addition to the Urbana Public Arts Program, you can see a lot of these other groups that gave us either cash or in-kind sponsorships. This is a big list of people. I mean, this is pretty massive that there's this many people that care about literacy for kids. There's Alice McGinty up on stage. Is that the main stage? Yeah, main stage. I just included this because I think it's interesting. It's from the survey of the people who attended, and it talks about like how people find out about the events, and you can see how Shambana Moms and the Read Across America Facebook and friends and family, word of mouth and the internet is really a big popular way for people to find out about stuff. And if you haven't liked the Read Across America Champaign-Urbana celebration on Facebook, they do posts all throughout the year about all sorts of different stuff for kids and literacy and reading and social justice and all sorts of multilingual. It's a pretty great, they share a lot of stuff that's important to everybody who, you know, speaks and reads and has children. Celebrity greeters. This is one of the things that I liked about it, is that lots of local people that are notable in town, they greet the people as they come into the events, and they also sit and read with the kids. This is Daryl Homan reading. And there's an example. There was a giant list. It was too many to list, but Tom Ramage from Parkland College, Heather Roberts from CI Living, Sylvia Morgan from our police department, and State Representative Carol Ammons were a couple of the fun people who were our greeters. Other languages were a big feature this year, so here's a schedule of all of the different stories that were read in all these amazing languages. I thought that was really impressive. And I think you could see, oh yeah, Spanish storytelling all day. There was one whole segment, a different stage that was Spanish stories. There's that's Miss Edie, right? Mama Edie. There's our storyteller lineup. So it's kind of, you can see how chock full of action it is. That's, you know, it's from 10 a.m. to 1, and that's a lot of different people who lent their talents to the stage. The last one you can see is Kate Cooper, and she has since passed away. Oh no, how do you go back? So the 2017 Read Across America, so that was this year's, was dedicated to her, and the theme was Read to the Alphabet to honor her. So she was one of the big participants in Read Across America, and she will be missed in this community. She was a very special artist, and so they dedicated the main stage to her this year. A big part is all the different community people that do booths. I think I counted 43, so there were over 43 different people that set up booths and had information and handouts and activities and did reading. So you can see some of the examples of local groups that had booths. And there's some more reading. I loved that lots of the Rotary groups read to the kids. So I myself am in charge of the senior program, so I love the intergenerational bent that we see at Read Across America too. So there's our little poster, and we had over 150 volunteers that helped with this event, over 40 booths. We saw some of those examples, and 3,000 people in attendance in just that 3 hours. So that's pretty massive. So we wanted to say thank you, and I guess open it up for any questions, but like we said, she's the one who probably, she probably would answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, or do you have any comments you want to add to what they said?
Just that they did a really good job representing that. So you hit all the really important things. It's definitely an event that's focused on the intermingling of literacy and the arts, and we love offering it for free. Head Start actually provides, or all the kids who go to Head Start get free rides from the MTD so that they can come to the event. So it's a really good community partnership.
Excellent. Thank you.
I have a question. When's the next one?
March
Is it March
4th
again?
or
Always
3rd
March?
of 2018. Yeah. It's based around Dr. Seuss's birthday. It's always the Saturday after his birthday.
March 2nd is his birthday.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So before I leave, I'm going to put my community volunteer hat on. I'm leaving right now for a meeting for the ACE Awards. 40 North puts on the ACE Awards. We've got some really great honorees this year, and it's on Thursday evening at the City Center, and it would be awesome to see any of you there. It's going to be a really fun event. Thanks.
All right. Next is Patricia Avery for Superstars.
Good afternoon, everybody. So that was a hard act to follow. It was very interesting, too. I don't have PowerPoint presentation to present to you this evening, but what I do have is some of my superstars here to provide you with some live entertainment later on in our after my presentation. Just want to give you a little bit of information about what we've been up to. Since we received funding, the $1,000 funding that we received from you on last year. So we want to thank you for that. It has been a difficult couple years for Champaign-Urbana Area Project because CU Superstar is a self-funded program. It has been difficult for us because our organization received like 90% of our funding from the state of Illinois. So we got caught up in that impasse, and I think it was around the same time that maybe your council got cut in your funding too, and we really do appreciate that you have continued to support this program. Even at the level that you have, we appreciate it very much. We did not submit funding this year on the February this year calendar, and it wasn't because we didn't want to, we just kind of missed the deadline. So I do want you all to know that we will be back. If there is still funding, we plan to be back to submit for funding, because the program, even though it is sustaining, the young people, it's a program that we've been doing for 11 years now. And there are many young people that look for Superstars to be their venue to showcase their talent, to be able to get out in the community, and to its personal development. We've had a number of kids, and Coach Marty B is going to tell you about some of the kids that come to our program and how it just really lifts them up. And sometimes that's their only way to be expressive is through music. You can see the shyest kids come out of their shell once they get on stage and they start to perform and do what they love to do. So we are, like I said, we're in our 11th year, and many of the organizations like CUAP across the state, they had to close their doors, but we were lucky or blessed to be able to keep our doors open, and it was because of the support that we have from people like you, such as yourself, that believe and support the program. And we also have sponsors and supporters like the City of Champaign Neighborhood Services Department and the Champaign Park District who help support the program. And by giving back, what we did was we performed in many of their block parties. So the City of Champaign and the Neighborhood Services partnered with the community and provide block parties throughout the various communities. This year they did something a little different, and they had neighborhoods, and Urbana might want to think about this. They had Urbana, Champaign, one of the neighborhoods in Champaign, actually, they had a contest. So whatever neighborhood did the most voting or something, they were able to got the most votes. We were able to provide them with a block party in their neighborhood, and this year was Tolson Park, which was something new. As you can see on the performance schedule, we've been busy since we have received funding from you. That's probably 27 performances that these young people have performed all over Urbana and Champaign. So we've provided, I know it's been probably, I calculated, and that's individually, over 60 hours of rehearsal time for these young people. We, like I said, we partner with the Champaign Park District, and one of the things that they provide for us is space, free space, where we can come in and provide rehearsals for the young people, and that was usually done maybe 3 hours a week, an hour and a half, 2 days a week. And so we provided a number of hours of rehearsal time for them. But we really just enjoy being out in the community, and people look for us. We've got a regular schedule. We don't have to call and look for venues. The people who we, year after year, like we have a regular schedule, and they just reach out to us and say, are your superstars performing this year? And of course, we're always willing to oblige, but it's getting very difficult. The one thing that I wanted to bring, and then I'm going to turn it over to Coach Marty B., is that we were very disappointed that the one thing that the kids, not only do they get to showcase their talent, and they're very excited about doing that, is they look forward to every year we have a final competition. And it's a healthy competition because these kids, they bond together. They become their biggest fans and biggest supporters among the group. But we have a final competition where we get each one of the individual participants, they all get awards, so they're all winners. No one's a loser in Superstar. And so they each get an award, and then they get to compete for scholarship money. And we weren't able to do that last year, and that just breaks my heart because I know how much they look forward to that event because we've been hosting it at the Parkland Theater year after year, and that's a big deal to be on that stage and have your family and friends come out and see you, and we just roll out the red carpet for them at that event. Well, we weren't able to do that last year, and I don't know. I've asked Marty B, Coach, if we can try to work on something to pull together. So I feel like the kids last year that were in the program, and we had a roster of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 7 regular superstars, and then we have what is called up-and-coming superstars. So we had 3 of those. And so they weren't able to shine like we want them to shine, but we hopefully we're going to try to get out our knee pads this year and try to see what we can get the community to support so we can provide that combined. And that was our 10th year, so I really felt bad because we were going to just really roll it out last year. So we hope that we can find the funding to provide that for them, because I just felt like that was our banner year, and we weren't able to provide our final competition. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Marty B. Lamar Browning, we call him Coach Marty B. He's an artist in his own right, and we just wouldn't be able to do what we do without him and other volunteers and supporters of the program. And he just loves what he's doing, but I'll let him tell you that.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Like she said, I'm Coach Marty B, and she really covered everything. Definitely want to thank you guys for your support and funding and everything. That's very important because, as we know, the kids are the next generation, and to support them doing something great is probably the greatest thing we could ever do. So I do take my talent. I am an artist. I'm probably on the road every weekend. But anytime I can give back to the community or to the younger youth or these up-and-coming talented artists, I do whatever I can. And that's not said lightly. Like when I say I'm on the road every weekend, literally. So I try to make that time because that's important. Somebody did it for me. Somebody took their time and did it. So I believe that this program, Superstars, is perfect. I was in Superstars years ago and was actually a winner of Superstars. So, it's actually cool to come back. I've been working with the program for a couple years now, and it's something that I wouldn't stop doing it because it's like a mentoring program. And then to see these talented kids and the way that they start off, like we had one girl, I'll say this year, never been on stage ever before. Never sang in front of people. She's a sibling. She sings in front of her siblings. She got on stage for the first time and she cried. That's normal. Everybody gets stage fright. She literally boo-hooed crying, walked off the stage. That was her first performance. We worked with her by her second performance. You would not have been able to tell that she got up on stage and was scared, because I believe in bringing out their full potential, bringing out who they are. I don't try to make them into anything. I just want to polish who they are. Trying to make them into something is me trying to create a whole individual when we are already our own individuals. We are our own beings. We just need somebody to polish who we are. So I believe that's my job. But yeah, they are amazing, and I thank God for Miss Patricia for allowing me to do what I do. Thank you guys for seeing the importance of this program and then many other programs, because it's very important. I'm a big believer in helping out the young people. I'm a big believer in that. So I think that's very important, because I say this every time I get up on stage, if you celebrate them while they're doing something positive, they won't run to anything negative. When you celebrate them on that positive note, negativity will run from them. because they'll have that positivity in their hearts. So we do have two individuals here today, Corey Robinson and Miss Ariana Rent. Come on up here. I'm gonna let them sing a little something for y'all so y'all can see the little talent that we have, you know. One day y'all have to pay, so just be thankful that this is
It's
free.
today.
But yeah, we have Corey Robinson. Come on, Corey. He gonna sing a little bit for you, and then we're gonna have Miss Ariana Rent sing. So you go ahead and you introduce yourself. Tell me your age and what school you go to.
My name is Corey. I'm 11, and I go to Jefferson Middle School.
What you gonna sing?
And I'm singing My God is Awesome.
Go ahead.
My God is awesome. He can move all mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Yeah. Thank you.
Could she sing acoustically?
My name is Ariana Rent. I'll sing "Smile for You."
How old are you and what school?
I'm 14 years old and I go to Urbana as a freshman. Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. There's nothing but clouds and it's dark in my heart and it feels like a cold night. But I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile. Thank you.
And these are just literally two examples of what we work with throughout the summer. These are just two. We have so many other ones that could not be here for different reasons, athletics, all of that. But we just definitely want to thank you for everything that you have done to support us. It really means so much. And I'm just going to sing a very little bit because if I don't, Miss Patricia will get me when I leave. She has made it adamant that I sing something, so I will. But we just want to thank you for letting us be ourselves again. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Nate Banks is coming up, and I want to say that we have been trying to partner
Yes.
together and get his musical.
We are going to
BB
partner.
We're going to
with
do
you.
it. We're going to do it. So we just want to say thank you.
Welcome. Did anybody have any questions before you guys go? Oh, well, yes, thank you. It was wonderful. Next is Nathaniel Banks with BBL Summer Activities.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Again, I'm Nathaniel Banks, and I'm the now executive director of the Banks Bridgewater Lewis Fine Arts Academy, and I want to also offer my gratitude for the support that we've been able to receive through the years from the Urbana Arts Commission. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the summer camp that we did this past summer. Oops. So we had our camp on June the 12th through the 17th, and our camp actually focused on beginning through advanced students. We had as our theme the music of America, and so basically what we did during the camp, during our music history times and our listening times, was to give the students a sense of how much influence jazz music has had on American music as a art form. And so we looked at lots of different types of examples of that. And this flyer just talks about some of the other areas that we were able to cover. So we covered all the instruments: brass, reeds, percussion, guitar, etc. We had small ensembles work, and then we ended up with a composition as well, and then we ended up with a closing concert. The purpose of the camp is to provide quality musical enrichment to young musicians, and our focus again was on jazz, gospel, and popular music. We do target low-income and underrepresented students, and we prepare students for success in their school musical organizations. And I think that's really one of the key hallmarks of our program. We don't see ourselves as a program that students should participate in to the exclusion of their experiences in the public schools or the local schools, but that it's an enrichment program so that the students can prosper in those environments. So we have had a daily schedule that focused on jazz history. We had sectional rehearsals, bucket drumming. Bucket drumming is a feature of our program because we believe that all the students need to know rhythms. So that's why we spend a lot of our time, especially with the young students, getting that background. Then, of course, the group rehearsals, and the students were actually making their own music as part of the camp as well. And this is again just talks about some of the instruments that were featured during the camp. At this camp, we had 13 beginning students, we had 17 advanced students, a couple of vocalists. So altogether, we had 32 students participating and 9 instructional staff. The other one didn't work, but this one did. So this is the intermediate ensemble. Oh, good, it stopped. I didn't mean that in a negative way. I just didn't expect it to go that long. So in any case, that was the intermediate group. And then we have an advanced band, and I'm going to have to go out of this presentation just briefly. I wanted to give you an example of what the advanced group sounded like. That's the advanced group. And that group was under the direction of Tito Carrillo. For those of you who don't know him, he's on faculty in the jazz department at the University of Illinois. And he's been with us several years, but he and Ron Bridgewater are 2 of our staff members. We always have a final concert at the end of the week where all of the students get a chance to showcase their talents. And then, again, we want to just thank this commission for your support of our efforts. This is our staff from this past summer. We have excellent staff. And I wanted to mention, similar to Superstars, 2 of our staff members are actually our former students, the Frazzetto boys. They're both in college now, but we brought them back to campus to help with our instruction. So the program seems to be working, and we're very pleased with how the young people are able to get those experiences. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have questions for him?
I have a comment. Could you go back to that last page, please?
Oops.
Or it doesn't matter, really. Or the support page, the camp purpose page, and you had the page of the faculty. I was just going to point out that one of
Okay.
your faculty members is a longtime member of this commission and was also a city commissioner, Robert Lewis,
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah.
in the white shirt.
Yeah, right
There he is, yeah.
Well, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, next we'll have Latrell Bright. She'll be presenting the water project.
Can I just, on the other side, okay. Oh, did I do it? Okay. Good almost evening. I'm Latrell Bright, and I was an awardee last year, or this year actually, for the 2017-2018 Urbana Public Arts Grant, and this is my final presentation on the water project. So this journey began back in December of 2015 when I originally applied for money from a different source. And at that time, the headlines were talking about Flint, Michigan. By the time I received money from that source, the headlines were talking about Standing Rock. I've been interested in water for a very long time, the environment in general. It just seemed kind of like the right time and kind of serendipitous. But I started with a call for artists. I wasn't looking for theater people, per se. If they showed up, that would be great. I was looking for citizens, people who cared about water, who cared about the environment, and wanted to explore those issues in a creative way. So over time, we assembled an ensemble of 8 of us from very different backgrounds with different talents that showed up in the performance piece, and I ended up being one of them. So we had 6 performers out of the 8. 1 was a sound designer, and 1 was a dramaturge who helped us with research. Research lasted pretty much from September, October, November of 2016. Most of the research pictures look like this, us sitting around in a room, watching documentaries, having guest people come over to, and we did this at my house and Kate Insolia's house to save on cost for kind of space. But we watched documentaries, we read articles, we had guest speakers come in. Smitha Vishveshwara, who works in physics at the University of Illinois, I've worked with her before. She talked to us a lot about the physics of water and how water works. We wanted to understand that. Rebecca McBride, with her organization EcoFluent, came in and talked to us deeply about water futures and what those actually were, and it's a bitter little thing that happens out there in the world. And we also had advisors, Carol Hayes from Prairie Rivers Network, and also James Kilgore offered up his syllabus for his water issues in South Africa 8-week course, which was very valuable in creating the piece. Something that happened that I had not anticipated at the beginning was a trip to Florida. A good friend of mine vacations there in January of every year and invited us to come and do kind of a retreat, to get to know each other better, to spend some time together, 18 hours in a car, really kind of helps build ensemble. But while we were there, we got to, it's amazing, we went to the visitor center, and visitor centers really have a lot of information about the region, about the environment. We also went to a couple of different museums. We learned about, and even though the geography and the ecosystems of Florida are very different from here, a lot of the political issues are very similar. So Here we have a beautiful wetland, and if you see off in the distance, there is a paper mill. That is their current battle in this particular part of the country. So we got together with Cope Cumston, and she provided some resources for us so that when we got there we could read and learn more about the region. And then we started to get to work and started to try and figure out what our roadmap might be for our devising process when we got back to start creating. The ensemble building, like I said, an 18-hour road trip. We actually had the opportunity to break bread together, and that rendered a lovely team of people that would work together for several months. So just note that in the research section in September, October, November, we met 4 hours a week for that amount of time. January was a little 4-day trip to Florida, and then when we got back, we got to the devising and the development and the rehearsal process. This was mainly us figuring things out, exploring through theater games and exercises how we might render story about these water issues that we were encountering. We did lots and lots and lots of talking, lots and lots and lots of writing. There's probably 50 pages more that never made it into the final script. We did a lot of movement. Our sound designer brought in sound samples. Sometimes sound was the impetus for whatever story we were going to tell. And it was lovely to work with people who weren't necessarily theater majors, who didn't have it all figured out, because I think we are all naturally storytellers. We've been telling stories for a very long time. It's how we communicate. It's how we understand the world. It's how we kind of love one another. And everyone contributed. There's not a page of the 20-page script that someone did not contribute to. And even people who weren't not necessarily dancers or movers contributed movement as well. So then we had, that's our final devising development. We became one, we say, with that picture. Not really, but yeah. So finally we came to the performance or the performances at the IMC. We decided to do it in the round, and at the IMC, they were very generous with us to kind of rig our own lighting system. If you've ever been there, you know that there's one light that works sometimes. But we were able to utilize that space and kind of turn it into a little theater for a hot minute. And we ended up creating stories about resistance, Owens Valley, and blowing up an aqueduct 4 times before receiving a shoot-to-kill order when the water was being diverted from the many to the few. We were able to create stories about how water came to be, using the information that we received from SMITHA and a lot of the research that we had done about how water came into existence. We were able to talk about water as a commodity, not so much in the large sense of water futures, but in our daily sense of what we do and how we can kind of, in this particular scene, we kind of sexualized water. We have this insatiable desire for bottled water. And we had 2 people in the ensemble who knew sign language. So using the talents of the people in the room, water had things it needed to say to us, and we used sign language for that. Since Standing Rock was very much in our midst at that particular moment, not that it's gone, Kate and Maddie created an oil and water dance based on how oil and water actually kind of don't intermingle, and it became kind of a metaphor for people and relationships. Or maybe our relationship to nature can be very tumultuous. The energy of water. We also spent a lot of time looking up water myths and water folklore from different cultures. Because SMITHA and Ephod had lots of stories to tell, and they are both of Indian descent, we ended up using one about a snake in the water, and the water pipes became the snake. We also included stories about places that we knew in our own lives that no longer existed for reasons of diversion of water or drought. And finally, we went to Flint and imagined the conversation between two officials prior to a town hall meeting when they were going to have to confront the mother who had 4 children who were sick. A real story. She has since actually moved to North Carolina. So, reception. One of the things that happened that I expected, sometimes with work like this, you end up preaching to the choir. We would love to end up in a room full of people who have differing views than our own. But it was a lovely choir. It was a choir of Prairie Rivers Network. It was a choir of American Rivers. It was a choir of Sierra Club, Students for Sustainability. One of my stepkids, their social justice teacher was there. Friends and family. And eventually, we found our way to, we were invited to perform at Allerton Park for Prairie Rivers Network 50th anniversary. That was an invitation, I believe, that happened prior to me writing for this grant. So future performances, this is a script, there's a script that exists, and one request that's come in already is, can you do that part of it? Can you do the rap about how water came to be? Can you do that story about the mother with the 4 children? But it's not a typical theater piece. The whole purpose of creating this was really for it to be a part of a larger conversation. So the actual performance at Allerton Park is part of Prairie River's Day at Allerton. That's the kind of thing we would like to be able to do with this in the future. There was a lot of love and water in the room. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Oh, thank you a lot.
All right, thank you.
This next is our staff presentation.
Hello. How is everybody this evening? I will try not to keep you here too long, but I do have a few different updates. So this is our October report from the staff. We're particularly excited to welcome Samantha Schrag. She comes to us from the Community Learning Lab. This is a project of the School of Social Work at the University of Illinois. So she will be completing an internship with us in exchange for class credit. So it is of no cost to the city to have her with us. And she's able to get class credit and her James Scholar project through working with us. She is a student in journalism and minoring in public relations and business, and she's going to assist us with marketing and events. So if you came out, as Barbara did, to our textiles opening recently, you saw her there, but hopefully as the time goes on, our commissioners will be able to meet her as well. So this is a little bit just about the Community Learning Lab. This is a new project that really has just taken off through the School of Social Work, but actually now offers internships and opportunities for students to work with community partners through this platform that the School of Social Work built that is now for any student on campus. So my hope is that through establishing a partnership with Community Learning Lab, we can continue to have a cycle of students coming to work with the public arts program. I have a little video about it, but I think we'll skip it for this evening. We also recently closed our Arts in the Schools applications just this past October 6th. We received a number of applications, are very excited about that, and we should be able to have our jury meeting soon and have some information at the next meeting of the recipients of that grant for this year. We also recently closed our Murals on Glass application that closed on September 29th. Your report says that we received a total of 21 submissions. That's correct, but each one was able to submit up to 3 artworks, so we actually had 48 artworks to consider for Murals on Glass. And if you recall, these the 2 sites this year are our very own city building, as well as Phillips Recreation Center's front windows. So we hope to release those names soon and be able to invite you out and the public out to ribbon cutting for those events and to highlight those artists that were selected this year. I do have an announcement related to the Urbana Art Expo. We've decided today to extend the application another week. So if you know anyone and who would like to apply to the Art Expo, we have received a number of applications, but we decided to extend another week anyway. We'll give an opportunity for some more people to apply. But again, this is for our Art Expo on November 19th from 10 to 5 p.m. at the Urbana Civic Center. And the new application deadline is October 16th. So a week from yesterday. Our Art Now for this this month, October's edition, features local artist Paula McCarty. These are episodes that air on UPTV every Monday at 6:30 p.m. and reruns on Tuesday at 11 p.m. They are also on YouTube, so this one has been up on YouTube for a couple of weeks. We're excited to feature her work, and one thing that we're working on doing is really revitalizing as much as possible our Art Now, getting the word out more about it, because it really is a fantastic mini documentary series about local artists. And we've done a few more filmings recently, really excited about some new things coming up with it. One thing that we've been doing is making updates as far as having like thumbnails, images and things on the YouTube playlists for it, and so it has some new sort of graphic design pieces that are coming along with Art Now, and the hope is to continue to get that viewed more and more. We also have our last Art at the Market this upcoming October 14th, and it will feature the performance from the Capoeira Angola Center, as well as a pop-up print shop from UIUC Noble Print Club. We also are developing a potential partnership with the Urbana Business Association to provide art in the market as part of their Market in the Square this holiday season and potentially in the spring as well. We recently had an opening for our current exhibition as part of Artist of the Corridor. The exhibition is entitled Textiles and features textile work from Laura Orr and Jill Miller. This was a joint exhibition. It will be on display from October through December. We had a very well-attended opening reception, and one thing we're excited about is having added a series of artist talks in conjunction with Artists of the Corridor. So their artist talk will be a part of a closing reception for their work, and that will be at the Urbana Free Library on December 6th from 7 to 8 p.m. So you're all invited to attend that as well. Open to the public, and we hope to have even some concurrent children's activities to be present a little bit before or after the talk. So that is another thing that we've added recently. Social media engagement has had a modest increase across the board, not the same increase as last month when I did a huge push for social media, and so did Lily. But we are still seeing small increases, and we're continuing to work on that campaign. Every single one has had an increase of some kind. We continue also to have social media campaigns. Art in Urbana is one of them, and every time we release a newsletter, we're selecting one of the tagged images on Instagram to highlight the poster of that image as well. One of the things that we're working to do as a committee is develop sort of social media branding unique to the public arts program, and so staff of the public arts program is also part of a larger citywide social media marketing team where we're trying to work on those issues and just getting the word out more about the things that we do. One aspect of that too is perhaps having our newsletter go out more frequently soon. So you may see that at least twice a month rather than once a month as far as the public arts newsletter. And if any of you noticed the last time, we did actually have a couple of different community events listed, and so we're continuing to try to build more of a community calendar into the newsletter as well, with the hope of eventually having an online arts calendar for the city of Urbana. We also attended the Volunteer Community Service and Volunteer Fair from the University of Illinois on September 19th, and were able to recruit 13 new volunteers. So those folks signed up to do work for the Public Arts Program, largely with special events, but any number of things. And one of the people who signed up was a representative of a larger volunteer group that wants to all volunteer together. So it's likely we'll have volunteers for quite a number of different special events that we're doing. And maybe related to that, we continue to seek financial sponsorship for certain programs, in particular the Urbana Art Expo. I know I might have reported this last time, I couldn't remember, but we did receive a supply of food as an in-kind sponsor for exhibitors of the expo, and we're continuing to seek more support in that direction as well. Lastly, I want to mention that myself and Open Scene artist and director of Inner Voices Social Issues Theater, Lisa Fay, co-presented recently at the Dennis H. May Conference at the University of Illinois in a presentation, this is a slide from it, in a presentation called Arts in the Community, Arts-Based Outreach as an Avenue for Wellness. And as part of that, we were able to ask questions, talk about some of the projects like Open Scene. We talked about some other sorts of things, asking questions like what are some of the lived moments or contemporary issues that you see as sites of artistic intervention, getting them to think about how they could use the arts and public art, not art therapy, but public art, as a way to engage in a number of questions around wellness and community engagement. And we talked about a series of other programs, one of which was called Written Rhyme Poetry, and actually invited a lot of questions around resources and co-support for ideas that folks wanted to bring out at that conference. So we were able to talk about all the resources offered through the Urbana Public Arts Program and give people information about how they can apply for grants and apply for a number of things locally here to do work on campus and in the local community. And that's it.
Well, thank you. Do we have any announcements?
Any questions?
I did have a question about one of the topics you were talking about, the YouTube presentation for the artist, the Art Now artist. And you're good about, I know you repost everything from one social media site to the other and sort of piggyback off your own homework. That I found it useful for me. I assume we're all friends of the arts
Fans
page,
of the Public Arts
Commission's program on Facebook, so we can all reshare everything to our own networks. I have found that very useful, and I'm glad to know that that's a possibility to use.
I've noticed you've shared a lot of our stuff, and I appreciate it.
I do my best, but I also want to do my best to bring this article that you may have seen in the September 24th News Gazette under the Arts and Entertainment page, a studio visit featuring Rachel Storm, our own public arts coordinator. So,
thank you. That, by the way, was one of Melissa Murley's last studio visits before her retirement.
Yeah.
So she's also indicated that maybe we can nudge her about applying for things now as an artist.
Super.
Don't forget it. I also wanted to mention one other thing that this reminded me of, which was that the Urbana Public Arts Program was nominated for an ACE Award. We didn't receive it, but all the nominees are also being honored on Thursday at the City Center as part of the ACE Awards celebration. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door. I'd love to see commissioners there. I'm planning to go, but hopefully, we'll get a chance to kind of get some more attention on the public arts program as well.
Well, speaking of that, I attended a recital on Sunday afternoon at the Urbana Free Library that was given by the Urbana Pops Orchestra, one of the members of the orchestra, and who is a colleague of mine, but I also went to represent the commission, and they gratefully thanked the commission publicly before the event started. They forgot to get in the program, but they made a strong point to thank the commission for the support of the Urbana Pops Orchestra.
That's great. We have quite a number of grantee events coming up. The Pops Orchestra was a recent one. Midwest Mending is this weekend. Obviously, CU Jazz Festival. Quite a number of things.
We didn't receive any funding.
Okay.
We didn't.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
But
what
you
I'm
still have
promoting.
you still have a
That's
very
great,
big
yeah.
weekend, right?
Yes, we do.
But right, quite a number of things going on. So get them on your calendars. It's great opportunities to go out and see local art, especially the things that we support, but everything that's going on. And we're going to try to keep promoting that through the newsletter and other avenues for the public arts program. Thank you.
All right. Looks like we're done. Have a motion to adjourn. All right, second.
Second?
We are adjourned.